February 4th, 2011, Session 4. I want to discuss the topic of extraterrestrials. Some years back, I was doing some research into an area next to where I worked, and in that area I had taken some pictures with my digital camera, and I would take them, go home, put them on the computer, and just look and look and look. And this area, it was kind of wooded, abandoned type area next to where I worked, and the railroad tracks ran through there and things of that sort. So trees, all that. So upon reviewing some of the pictures, I came across one that had a lighted object in it that I'm pretty sure, positive, as a matter of fact, that it was not there when I took the picture. I could not explain the object, but the object did have a form to it. So, and it was so bright that it was pretty obvious that it was not, like a glare or something else. None of that. It was something there. A solid object, but not solid in our realm, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I had to use my empathic ability and things of that sort just to get a feel for what it was. And what came back to me was that it was extraterrestrial in that sense. And at that point, I kind of stopped doing some of the research and there have you, because extraterrestrials for me took it to another, to a different height, to a different area that I did not at the time want to continue to indulge and figure certain things out. Okay, with that being said, up until that point, my belief was that skeptics, scientists, and things of this sort always out there looking, searching for life outside of Earth. Now, both logic and mystically, you name it, the way I pretty much view everything across the three realms, the three worlds. Life does exist outside of Earth, and we see it every day. There's the sun. And if anyone considers the sun not to be life, I don't know what to say. Obviously, our lives depend on it, but the sun itself has a life. Life to me is energy. Anything that has energy equals life. Energy is never ceases to exist. It only changes form. Okay? So we have planets out there, we have solar systems, universes. There's plenty of life. In fact, there's more life out there than there is on our planet. Okay? So will the day come when we'll no longer be still searching for life? Now what happens is, with Hollywood and with certain skeptics and things like that, they've equated life outside of Earth with aliens, alien beings. Again, they do exist. All right. The day that one will, appear in physical form in front of us, I don't know. For some people, that's already happened. For others, they're skeptical. So be it. But that does not mean, if it hasn't happened, that life does not exist. Life has and always will exist outside of Earth. Okay. All right. With that being said, extraterrestrials. There are so many different types, and if I'm going to use the word races. Different races of extraterrestrials out there. Okay? And I won't say that I can't say that there's a ton of them that interact with us, but I know there's enough of them. One in particular that I want to bring a focus on are the ones that do not need to manifest themselves physically. Okay? Those extraterrestrials, and this is my belief, extraterrestrials that were present and took a major part in our creation, in creating human beings, do not need to manifest before us to interact with us or to influence us. It's almost as if you create a man out of clay. Does the clay man know that you exist? Yet you can create this man and put him in a running form. You can create him laying down. You can create him with 2 legs, 3 legs, however you want it to do. You manipulate the clay how you see fit. And again, the question is, does the clay know that you created it? Does the clay know that you exist? That's kind of how I view it. So, obviously something created us, or someone, or some things. And the best way to find out who they are would be to understand yourself. Okay? What is it that you can do? What is it that you can't do, or think you can't do? Within yourself, there's the complexity of the human body, and the different parts that we are composed of. And the extraterrestrials, their level of intelligence is far beyond our own. It's almost impossible to comprehend it using logic and using your mind or your brain. But outside of that, mystically, spiritually, it can be. So you have to use the two. You cannot just say logically they don't exist, and spiritually you just can't say no, they don't exist. It has to be using both. You can engage and realize and come to the conclusions that they do exist, and they do influence us every single day. They can influence us using our own belief system. For instance, if you're a Christian and you believe in angels, these extraterrestrials reside outside the realm of angels. They're over and beyond the angels. And therefore, because you believe in angels, can appear to you in a dream as an angel, but it is not an angel. You think it's an angel because you believe in angels, but it's in fact an extraterrestrial appearing to you as an angel just to get your buy-in. Makes perfect sense. If you were to talk to a child, and the child has more faith or a better response to a certain, whether it be a superhero or a puppet from TV or something like that, or even like a Santa Claus, a Easter Bunny, whatever the case may be. So instead of talking to them as the parent, because when they look at you, they just see a parent, instead you're going to use the superhero, or you use a Santa Claus or something like that, and you just say, well, if you want X, Y, and B, Santa's the one that's going to give it to you, so you have to act a certain way. If that child believes in Santa, they're going to do exactly what they need to do in order to get what they want. So, you use Santa Claus, you use the superhero, you use the puppet. These extraterrestrials doing the same thing. Okay? They don't have to physically manifest in front of you, because if they did, you'd probably, keel over, just from the shock of it. But these extraterrestrials can use whatever belief system they find within you. And therefore, they can influence anyone, anywhere. If you are a Muslim, they'll use Islam, or appear in certain ways that way. If you are a Buddhist, different belief system you have there, they use that. If you're a Christian, they use that. And this is how they influence us. This is how they keep tabs on us. Now, with that being said, the belief systems, the religions, and all that come from them to begin with. Anyone that does the research will see that when you strip down the religions, they all have centerpieces. Okay? They all have major similarities. And just applying a small amount of logic would lead one to believe that's due to it all coming from the same source. With that being said, that's how they communicate. That's how they keep tabs. That's how they influence us. Now, we do have some leeway. If you want to call it free will, call it what you want, but it's almost as if we're given these tools by the extraterrestrials to to then experience life. So, although they may be the originators of a belief system, one like the major religions, whether it be, take for instance, the Mormons, the Angel Moroni, Christianity, the Angel Gabriel, same with the Islam, all the deities that exist across the religions come from the same source, and this source would be extraterrestrial. And Christians, I'll use them as an example since I'm more familiar with them, should never be opposed to extraterrestrials' existence, for the Bible is full of it. Extraterrestrial meaning not from Earth. And when you look at the mention of angels in throughout the Bible, one would have to agree that extraterrestrials do exist. It's just their influence that is in question, and a lot of people do not see it, cloaked in a sense. With that being said, that's like a major influence on us are those extraterrestrials that were responsible for our creation. But that's not to say there aren't other races of extraterrestrials that do manifest here and interact with us. Earth could be viewed as a grand central station, if you will, for beings within our solar system. It's also my belief that there's beings in existence on the planets, and we'll get into that in the next session.